Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first webinar of 2021. Is this the right time to do an MBA? Will pursuing an MBA right now be beneficial for you? Are these questions bothering you too? Hi, this is Harmeet Sehdev, your host and host for today. We are back with season 2.0 of our webinars with the best MBA information just for you. We are sure you must have a lot of questions regarding whether it's a good time to pursue an MBA right now or not. Well, fear not. Our experts are here to clear all your doubts and queries. Today's topic of the webinar is 2021 the right time to do an MBA? The best three questions will win Amazon vouchers worth rupees 500. We have added an eligibility checker link on the chat window. Click on the link to know if you're eligible for an MBA at Sunstone or not. Without any further ado, let's quickly introduce you to today's panelists. We have with us Ashish Munjal, co-founder and CEO at Sunstone University. Well, to quickly introduce him, a meticulous strategist, Ashish Munjal has vast experience of working in varying and diverse industries. Being an MBA and a financial analyst is just a couple of the many feathers in Ashish's cap. Being a true analyst at his core, Ashish is all set to help you analyze and strategize the ups and downs of the job market for the coming 2 years. Hello, Ashish. Welcome to the webinar.
Thank you so much, Amit. Looking forward to speaking with the students.
Glad to have you. Next, we have Vaibhav Jha, VP Academics at Sunstone University. Vaibhav has over 15 years of experience in management, consulting, and startups. He has worked in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. He holds an MBA from the European School of Management and Technology in Germany and a Bachelor of Engineering in IT. In the Middle East, Vaibhav worked on SAR 1.4 billion project for the government of Saudi Arabia, where he conceptualized an educational institute. Welcome to the webinar, Vaibhav.
Thank you, Armin. It's glad to be here. Look forward to interacting and taking all the questions.
Glad to have you here, Vaibhav. Next, we have with us Vaneela Gupta, AVP Curriculum and Development. Over 19 years of experience in training and development of global experience across multiple geographies and has facilitated and trained over 30,000 plus participants through 1,000 programs or workshops on diverse spectrums of competencies and skills. She has worked with brands like British Council, Coca-Cola, Kenya, Lifespan, Panasonic, Videocon, Aircel, and Maruti, to name a few. Hello, Vaneela. Welcome to the webinar.
Thank you so much, Harpreet. It's lovely being here and looking forward to interact with all of you.
Lovely to have you too, Vaneela. Next, we have Rishi Jain with us, an MDI Gurgaon alumni. She recounts real instances of MBA preparation, college experiences, and life after MBA on her YouTube channel. Popularly known as the MBA guinea pig, she had many hurdles in her way, but she always kept herself motivated. While she continues on her path, she shares some stories, tips, suggestions to motivate the youth and guide them in their life goals. Hello, Rishi. Welcome to the webinar.
Hi, Harmeet. Very excited to be on the webinar, and I hope I do get to share some stories and also hear from the students.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have a lovely YouTube channel, and I'm sure you have so much to share with us, and we are glad that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, let's get to the webinar and let's get going. Send in your questions, and our panelists will answer them for you. The best three questions, as I discussed earlier, will win Amazon vouchers worth rupees 500. So what are you waiting for? Start typing in the chat section. Well, without doing any further ado, Ashish, we will definitely start with you. First, my first question to you, Ashish, is this the right time to do an MBA? What do you think?
Yeah, so actually, it's a very apt question right now because all of us are going through a pandemic and we are just started to recover from pandemic. So if you look at, we probably will be having a sort of a U-shaped recovery. So it's actually a very good time to do an MBA because the students will be starting their MBA in June 21. They will be graduating somewhere in beginning of 23. And that's where all of us are expecting that economy should be on boom in 2022 and 23. So when these students will be graduating from the campuses, hopefully they should be able to get into good jobs. So just to answer your question very, very shortly, yes, this is the right time to do an MBA.
ये तो हुई MBA सेक्शन की बात आशीष. अगर आपसे ये पूछे कि सनस्टोन यूनिवर्सिटी 2021 में क्या अलग लेके आ रहा है बच्चों के लिए, तो what would you like to add on that?
Yeah, so at Sunstone, we are doing a lot of different things. We continue to invest a lot on our curriculum side, our academic sides. But what we are doing in 2021 is that we now are coming up with our campuses partners in different cities, which we were not present in last years. So we are targeting to have new partnerships in cities like Pune, Hyderabad, Calcutta. We are also looking to have tie-ups in Bhopal and Dehradun. So the whole idea is to ensure that the students from Pan India should have access to the high quality education and the industry readiness that Sunstone stands for, without having to travel too far into the north or to Bangalore. So everybody should have some presence of Sunstone within their own state.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very important, as we have discussed in the previous webinars as well, that it's very important for students to know that there's somebody who's accountable for their career. Thank you so much, Ashish, on that note. Moving on, Vaibhav, my next question to you is कि pandemic situation से अब हम बाहर आ रहे हैं. How are the campuses coping up? I mean, tell us about all the campuses across India. What are we doing? What is Sunstone doing now to make sure that students are safe?
Very, very relevant question in these times. So as Ashish also mentioned that, the recovery has started. Most of our campuses all across India have started, as well as the offices. You must have noticed even the offices have started. There are strict sanitization regimes. All the campuses are more alert and aware at this point of time. Students are, or anybody coming into the campuses are checked just as a precautionary measure, and with the vaccines on the side, there's a lot of assurance of safety, at least from the pandemic front. Another important thing about this pandemic is that it was not as bad as it was thought to be at the earlier time, because earlier there was this perception that to get this virus, it is very, very lethal, right? But we've seen so many success stories of people, without Medicare, just quarantining themselves and getting out. It's a very, very positive sign, and I mean, in terms of recovery, I think it's taking shape right now.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Weber. We'll definitely get back to you soon. On that note, next question to, I would like to ask Vaneela. Vaneela, what about the curriculum? Is there anything different this year in 2021? Because we have already, discussed this in the previous webinars that, Sunstone's curriculum is absolutely at par with the industry. And we also knew that TikTok was removed, right? Because it was removed from the curriculum. Now, what are the new things we are doing in the curriculum side?
Sure, Harmeet. I think that's a lovely question. I'm sure all these students would want to know what is it that we're doing different to ensure that we cater to the industry needs, especially after pandemic. So after pandemic, there is a lot that has changed. As you mentioned, TikTok has gone, Instagram has taken a new look, and people have been more focusing on it. We have focused a lot on the new normals, like digital e-commerce has come into, it has grown in zillions because we were catering to different customers at the difficult times. Digital marketing came into picture, social marketing came into picture. We equipped our students to apply jobs online and also hire for HR, whoever are interested in HR, to hire online virtually how things are. We came up with programs like work from home to ensure that our students are well versed with how offices are when you work from home. How do you coordinate with different teams and different...
Sorry to interrupt you here, Vaneela. Are work from home internships were also available for the students who just enrolled in, just to understand?
Yes, absolutely. You would be happy to know that all our students got a work from home internship during the difficult times. So that was a big success for all of us. And all these we are catering to our curriculum and ensuring that once our students are ready for the industry, they are well equipped with what the industry requires as of now. So I think that answers your
question. Right. Thank you so much, Vaneela. And moving on, we have a guest here, Urvashi. Urvashi, my next question is absolutely to you. My question is, Urvashi, vaccination and all the process is actually starting up, right? अब वो हम उस जोन में जा रहे हैं जब हम कोविड से निकल रहे हैं, तो अब जब बच्चों को MBA एडमिशन लेनी है, what is that one thing they should consider? What are things they need to look out while they select a MBA college?
Um, all right. So I chose an MBA college 4 years back. Some of the pillars to make this decision used to be. I'll just tell you why I'm telling what our pillars of decision used to be and what I feel they would be, in times of COVID. We used to look at the brand value of the college because MBA as a degree is also a tag which stays with you for quite some bit in your career, if not forever. The second thing we used to look at was placements. More than anything else, what are the kind of placements that I'm looking at in this college, especially in the field that I'm trying to enter, may it be finance, HR, marketing, etc. The third thing used to be batch size. Now, again, this is like a sub bucket of placements because colleges who have a controlled batch size are able to generally place their batches better. So that is something we used to take into consideration. uh, Again, the curriculum of the college, the kind of committees you have, all of that. One very important thing that used to also go into the decision was location of the college. All right. So, for example,
Right.
I'm from MDI Gurgaon, and it really mattered to me that I want to enter marketing, and I'm sitting in a college which is in the heart of Gurgaon. So, I will have a lot of recruiters coming to my campus because it's accessible. Now, that last pillar doesn't hold true, in my opinion, post pandemic, because even though you have these vaccines coming in and people will return to campus, all of that, but I really believe that people will permanently switch to remote hiring simply because now HRs are pretty comfortable at organizing it. Companies have seen in the last 8 months that it's a very cost effective model to do remote hiring. And therefore, a lot of campuses used to suffer because they were very remote in location. And so, companies wouldn't visit their campus, which I think would kind of go out of the picture. So when I'm speaking to students now, even on my channel, even, my juniors from college, so one thing which keeps coming up is that try and figure out what kind of brands have stuck to your college even during the pandemic. What kind of placement lineups do you have now before you get into a college, and then make your decisions, because anyway, nobody has to visit your campus anymore. And more importantly, even though you probably might be going back to campus within the next 6 months with the vaccine coming in, really practice hard your virtual interviewing skills, because that is something which will really come into play in the coming months now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Urvashi, for taking that up for us. On that note, we have so many questions online. Thank you so much. I repeat, best three questions will win Amazon vouchers worth rupees 500. So please keep typing, keep asking. So on that note, the first question is from Ruchi. Ashish, I would request you to take that up for us. Ruchi says, if I do MBA this year, will packages drop 2 years from now, or will the economy stabilize by then? Very valid question, Ashish.
It's a very valid and very relevant question as well. So I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the person who asked
Ruchi,
this.
Ruchi, Ruchi.
So, Ruchi, actually, if you look, all of us are expecting a market to do better now, and this probably will continue for a while now, because anyways, our economy was on the slowdown, and now everybody is expecting that to come back now. So our expectation is that the average packages should also start going up 12 months. Like if you're standing in 21, after 22 the average packages should also start going up, because right now there are a lot of people who have moved out of workforce because of COVID and who are now coming back to the workforce. So in next 12 months it will be difficult to say, or it will be not a right thing to assume that salaries will start going higher. But yeah, after that everybody's expecting average packages to go slightly higher as compared to what levels they currently are right now at.
Right. I hope, Ruchi, that answers your question. Moving on. Our next question is from Abhijit Paul. Abhijit says, if I do MBA from Sunstone, what makes us different from other B school students? Will there be any special preference? Vaneela, please, if you can take that up for us.
Sure. Abhishek, right? That's
Abhijit Paul. Yeah.
Abhijit. That's a very valid question, and I'm happy to answer this. So, what Sunstone gives different, I think we've been speaking about it in a lot of webinars now. So, we are not just giving you a degree, or we're not just making you an MBA per se. What we are doing here is making you absolutely ready for the industry. So the complete curriculum and the complete 2 years that you are going to be with us is going to be a drill down to ensure that you are career ready and the best pick for the industry. So whatever concepts you learn in with us is not just a concept. It is a 360-degree experience that we are giving to you, which talks about what if this is done, how it is done, and how will you apply it. So that is something that will make you different from other business schools, and I hope that has answered your question.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vaneela, for taking that up for us. Moving on, our next question is from Kunal. Kunal says, since the people and companies all are still facing the pandemic situation, I am not sure if the market will bounce back in 2 years if I do an MBA now. Please help. Rishi, if you can take that up for us.
Uh, Kunal, right? So you want to know if you enter an MBA right now, would there be a healthy job market for you out there post
In the
2 years,
course of
right?
2 years,
When you're
yes.
completing your MBA?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, so, I always find it very scary to speak to students because you guys are very smart with numbers. So I did some research before coming to this webinar. And I was just reading that, 1/5 of recruiters, this is a December study which Naukri has done. Why I specifically took a Naukri research was because Naukri largely has Indian pool of people who are looking for jobs. So it says that 1/5 of recruiters foresee hiring bouncing back to pre-COVID levels by quarter four. Quarter four means Jan, Feb, March. Okay, and 26% predict 3 to 6, in 3 to 6 months, which means April, May, June, up till April, May, June. And 34% say that it would take, about 6 months to 1 year for them to kind of return back to hiring in the pre-COVID levels. So that means even before you're out of college, basically when you're sitting for your summer placements, things will be pretty normalized as far as the job market is concerned. I will come to another piece of it, which is a bit of a sticky issue right now, which kind of Ashish touched upon. Kunal, was that since a lot of people left the job market, companies really have the leverage right now to kind of negotiate on salaries. All right. But as more people return, back to their jobs, and the job market again becomes a competitive force, right, where there are limited people looking for a job and there are limited people offering jobs, even the income bit of it would get fixed by the time you're out of college. So I definitely do not see jobs becoming an issue for you 2 years from now. Anyway, nobody can look 2 years into the future. Nobody, if we could, we would have predicted COVID, obviously. But considering the present trends, I really don't think it would be a problem. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Urushi. And that was quite a bit of numbers, must say. Thank you. On that
Yeah.
note, Vaibhav, our next question. Thank you. Our next question is from the user ID. It's SimShare. I'm sure that's not your real name. But moving on, the question is when we get placed after 2 years or in the beginning of the second year? Well, Vaibhav.
Yeah, it's complicated user ID, so it's Sims. So, I'll answer that question. You would, at Sunstone, we firmly believe a very strong integration with the corporate environment or the industry. So, I would talk about the 2019 students who have not yet finished with their curriculum, but more than 90 of our students have already been given a PPO. So they are already working in the corporate, they're working, they're doing their jobs, and they have a PPO offer in mind as interns. So when it comes to placements, we are not like any other traditional business schools where we wait for things to get over and place you. We firmly believe that it is the industry who knows more than the academics in India specifically, and what you would learn on the job, right? No book can teach you that, and we push our students to take up opportunities, and our whole placement team works in 24/7 to get you the right opportunities from a very early age. So there is a good chance, and it has happened at Sunstone this year itself, that students who are in the first trimester starting have received very good offers.
That's amazing. That's really amazing because I in the morning only I was doing an Instagram live, Vaibhav, and must say that students have already started doing internships, and that's such a great thing to see students, doing so well. Well, on that note, moving on, Vanilla, our next question is from Rajesh. Rajesh, has a valid question, and this is something which we have seen a lot. Is that people have started thinking, Vanilla, that artificial intelligence आ रही है, तो HR की jobs जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं खत्म हो जाएंगी. So he says, Rajesh says that how will HRM fare in the post-corona world as HR jobs are already dried out? Will companies look to hire HR people? Vanilla, over to you.
Rajiv, right?
Rajesh.
Rajesh.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rajesh, relevant question, and I think if you refer to my faculty speak, I have addressed this there as well. So HR is human resource is something which talks a lot about managing resources, and every industry and every company has to manage their resources efficiently to ensure there is input of resources, there is complete engagement of resources, and there is lesser output of resources. And if there is lesser output of resources, there has to be input. So to manage all this, yes, AI makes it easier for humans to kind of do their work efficiently, but AI is definitely not a replacement of humans. Remember that. So our work is getting easier. We are the data management has become easier, I would say that, but the HR jobs are definitely going to be there. And trust me, if you join MBA right now, by the time you are with your MBA in hand, the economy is going to be back, and there will be plethora of jobs waiting for you. I hope you are quite excited to hear this, and that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Vaneela. On that note, moving on, we have a question from Akhilesh Tripathi. Ashish, Akhilesh says, how can one pursue his dreams to work abroad with his MBA degree? What specialization is most recommended for this same? So it's a two-part question. First part question is, how can one pursue his dreams to work abroad with his MBA degree? Yes, Ashish, over to you.
Yeah. So if somebody has decided that he wants to go abroad and he wants to settle down, let's say in countries like Australia or Canada or US or UK, then it makes a lot of sense for that person to pursue one education degree from that country. It can be the undergrad degree or it can be the postgrad degree. So that's something that it's more logical to do that. And I'm sorry, what was the next question, Harmeet?
The next consecutive question, Ashish, was what specialization is most recommended for the same? मतलब अगर abroad जाना हो तो कौन सी specialization कर सकते हैं?
So typically what happens is that, let's say if you and you can actually look it for yourself as well. Let's say when you are browsing through few people profile who completed their undergrad or postgrad from US or UK or Australia, what kind of education did they go through, and now in which field they are working, you yourself will see that there is not much of a correlation. You can see people who have done, let's say, psychology, now doing investment banking. And this is very common sort of thing. So when you are actually planning to pursue something, I would rather recommend you to follow what you really like, rather than just thinking from the perspective that, okay, I only want to do sales, or I only want to do digital marketing. So you probably should pursue things that you like. So if you think that, okay, I am good in numbers, then probably you should pursue finance. If you think that I am a extrovert, I like to talk to people, then you can pursue marketing. It totally depends what are your areas of strength, rather than just thinking from the perspective that कि एक्स फील्ड का स्कोप बहुत है, ऐसा कुछ कर लेता हूँ. आई वुड स्ट्रांगली रिकमेंड पीपल नॉट टू डू दैट, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली लेट्स से इफ आई नो कि एनालिटिक्स का स्कोप बहुत है, बट इफ आई एम नॉट गुड इन एनालिटिक्स, देन इट डजंट मैटर. अगर आपने एनालिटिक्स कर भी ली तो यू विल नॉट बी अ गुड एनालिस्ट, राइट? बट अगर इफ आई एम अ एक्सट्रोवर्ट पर्सन, मुझे लोगों से बात करने में मजा आता है, एंड आई लाइक टू डू कन्विंस पीपल, आई हैव दो सेल्स स्किल, तो even if I'm doing, let's say, majors in marketing or sales, I'll be a very good sales guy. So just think it from that perspective, rather than just following the like what's hot kind of a thing.
Absolutely, it's very important for you guys to listen to your inner calling. Agar inner calling nahi hai to bhi don't take tension. I'm sure faculties are here to guide you, counsel you, what exactly do you're good at and everything else. I'm sure about that. Thank you so much, Ashish, for taking that up for us. And we have our first winner question. Lavish Sharma is the first winner question. The question is, currently many employees have lost their jobs because of companies. Just a minute. Currently, many employees have lost their jobs because of companies facing an economic crisis. How does Sunstone plan to provide placement to 2021 batch? Vaibhav, over to you, and congratulations, Lavish. You win an Amazon voucher worth rupees 500. You can connect to our team at connect@sunstone.edu.in to claim your prize. Moving on, Vaibhav. Yes.
So it's a very, very interesting question. And I wanted to also refer to some of the aspects that the different other panelists have mentioned. Uh, this year, 2020 has been tough, right? But it's been tough on very specific industries. If you see, and this is what you're going to be learning in your MBA, any economy works in cycles, right? So any given time, be it pandemic, be it not be pandemic, right? There are going to be certain sectors which will do well. There are going to be certain sectors that will not do well, right? So, for example, your e-commerce is doing very well, which translates into retail. But brick and mortar retail suffered. Movie business suffered. Little small and medium businesses suffered. But then the auto sector, if I make a hypothesis that the stock market, right, that India has, right, the Sensex or the MSC, that is reflective of the economy. We are at an all-time high, given the money that is there. So what has typically kind of changed is business models need to revamp themselves. Given the pandemic, there have been companies that have been able to adapt much better than others, right? And they have continued to hire, right? Sunstone, I'll give you an example of Sunstone. Sunstone has continued to hire all through this process. If you look at Byju's, if you look at the education sector, right? They have continued to kind of hire through the pandemic. If you look at the auto sector, they have continued. Yes, your movie business, your PVRs and all have suffered, right? Then there are going to be your brick and mortar, your mall business has suffered during the pandemic. But retail, a manufacturer who sells shoes like Adidas, they have done very well because people have just changed the channel of purchasing. So this is exactly why we say that you should do your MBA. You'll be able to make much more informed decisions. And one takeaway is, economy works in cycles, right? At any given point of time during any crisis, certain sectors will do much better than the others. And that is the law of the economy. So I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Vaibhav. On that note, Urvashi, my next question is to you. But before I, announce the next question, I would wanted your opinion on how important it is for the student to follow his or her passion.
So it's funny this question. It's funny this question comes up today. So just this morning, I was reading this book, To Think Like a Monk. Okay, and he says that exactly when are you in complete balance of what you're doing? All right. So, and it really got me thinking, and I feel this answers the question. He says that what goes into making you live a balanced life, that you're leading something which you have passion for, okay, which you have skill for, all right, is useful to the community. And the fourth pillar is that you feel compassion while doing it, that somebody is gaining something good out of it. Okay, I feel good about myself doing this. So, like I said, one of the pillars was passion, right? And it might not be that, tomorrow I wake up and then I write down a few points in my diary and boom, I have my passion today. Okay. It takes a few years of experimenting with A, B, C, D, and then you kind of figure, okay, this is something which I really like doing. And then you put some effort into your passion, right? But as far as you're enjoying something, you're able to sustain it. It's like, why do so many people give up on their new year goal कि मैं रोज exercise करूंगा? It's because passion नहीं है उसके
Right.
अंदर. सिर्फ मेहनत है, right?
Absolutely. That's
So
that's
yeah.
that's a very well put up. That's very well put
Yeah.
up. Thank you so much, Urvashi. Urvashi, on that note, my next question is to you. Arushi says, how important is the brand name of B School? Should I look at faculty or name of college? This is a very valid question. Students really, have a difficult time selecting MBA based on this. What do you think?
Okay. Brand name versus college. Um, I have a younger sister who sat for cats, and then she came and asked me this question. Okay, and my answer to her was, you first get your cat score, you first have those three colleges that you have in your hand, and then we'll sit and we'll discuss, are these three colleges kind of, which one is better in terms of brand, which one is better in terms of faculty, which one is better in terms of location. So point number one, first have your options in your hand, okay, before you get into these things. Point number two, if you get into a college, okay, which has a very good, now I probably would have given a different answer 2 years back when I was doing my MBA, but 2 years into the industry, I would say, what if I get into a college which has a super brand name, okay, but I want to get into a particular field and there are absolutely no avenues for it on the campus. There are no companies coming in, there is no right faculty to teach me anything about it, and this is the world for upskilling, right? You come out of that college 2 years later with a brand attached to you, but nothing, no new skill up your sleeve. That is also a loss. So you really have to balance this out. You can't just be like, let me pick up a brand and पढ़ाई तो कर लेंगे, देख लेंगे, हो जाएगा. That's a waste of 2 years. Personally, that's what I think now. So yeah, I would try to balance this out.
Thank you so much, Urvashi, for taking that up for us. My next question is to Ashish. K. Ramlang says, is there any plan to set up Sunstone University in the northeastern part of India?
Yeah, so all of us are hoping that Sunstone should be in every state of the country, and it will happen very soon. But it's difficult to put a date to specifically, let's say, northeast for this year. But yeah, we will definitely be partnering with a campus in West Bengal this year. So Kolkata is something that we'll definitely be opening this year, and most likely, if everything goes fine, we'll be in Guwahati by next year.
That's wonderful news. Thank you so much, Ashish. And moving on, Vaibhav Anwar Abu Bakr says a very valid question. Now, this is something which we have seen. I'm sure when we speak to students, students are very scared कि अरे अंग्रेजी बोल पाएंगे कि नहीं. It's such a need in the hour. He says, I'm from Kerala and I have some problem like languages and some other. I think that problem, and these problems cannot make me join your course. Will you help me learn languages? Vaibhav, over to you.
So, hi, Anwar. A very, very interesting question. And just yesterday, I was sitting in a class, right? And I'll just tell you about the diversity in that class. So, within that class and of 60 students, apart from Gujarat, I had students in of all states sitting.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And that is, I mean, that was like just fabulous, where there were students who were from Andhra, there were students who were from, Tamil Nadu, there were students from Haryana itself, there were students from UP, Bihar, and sitting together. And that is the whole culture that we built at Sunstone, is learning from each other, learning the languages. So the basic language of mode of communication at Sunstone is definitely English, right? So English is there, but if you're able to, and I believe that this is a challenge in speaking, but if you're able to read English, we from the trimester one itself focus a lot on communication skills, and we help you with with spoken English quite a lot. So because that helps you to communicate. But on that front, I would also like to add a caveat. What I have seen is, you need English specifically for just two things: to impress your HR, right? And the second thing is to send formal communication out after you have met someone. Most of the people that I have seen are communicating in the local languages because the relationship forms, rapport building is there, and the way India is localizing, right? Companies are purposely looking for students and people from tier 2 cities who they can empower and build on. So I would say, don't let this skill, if you have or if you don't have, right, hamper you, because the way the economy is moving, languages will not be a problem going in the future. We will be able to fit the right skill with the right opportunity out there. We do that at Sunstone fairly well.
Right. Before moving on, Vaibhav, I just want to understand one thing. Are there examples of students, who are very scared of this English language barrier and then they came out with flying colors? Has there been any experience of that sort yet?
So in fact, I take multiple examples. Trimester one, we do this program called public speaking, where we tell the students to just come on stage and talk about anything. And the topic we chose was stand-up comedy. Everywhere on Netflix and Amazon Prime, you see stand-up comedy, and it's becoming a thing. So, and that pushed the students, to speak fairly fluently, and even if they were not, they could choose a language of their choice. And we used to push the students to do stand-up comedy, and students just loved it. And we saw results within 2 to 3 weeks. Another aspect was, we get a lot of companies, we do a lot of empowerment exercise, and one of the days the marketing team was at our campus, and they were talking, and they were doing video shoots, and they pushed our students to interact, communicate in English, explain themselves. And you're going to be seeing a lot of those videos on our YouTube channel where students talk about their stories, and you can see that change that has happened to them just in the first trimester. So communication and written English is something that we really focus on, right? Because that actually gets you to a level of being industry ready. But trust me, businesses are done in your local language.
Right. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for taking that up for us. Moving on, Vaneela, next question is for you. Dipanshu Saini says, what skills will be most in demand once everything settles down? And on that note, I also want to know if these skills are added in the curriculum at par. What do you think about that? Yes, Vaneela.
Thank you, Harmeet. And Dipanshu, a very valid question. You will be hearing a lot about life skills these days. This is something that most of the organizations are looking for. Now, when I say life skills, what these life skills are: problem solving, collaboration, critical thinking, being able to, make good, effective decisions. So at Sunstone, we believe in a lot of simulations. Now, when I say simulations, what does that mean? Simulations means putting you into situations which you will actually face when you are in a live environment. So what is your decision? How do you problem solve? How do you figure out what the problems are? What kind of solutions do you give? How do you collaborate with your team members? How do you collaborate with your seniors? So that is something that we we put you into. So there is a lot of do per se that we do to ensure that you are practicing and understanding what and how things are actually done. And post that, there is a lot of reflective discussions that we do. Now, reflective discussions is what could have been done better, what did you do, what do you think could have been, changed to come to a better decisions. So this is something that we have been incorporating right from our first trimester to the last trimester, to ensure that our students are well versed with what they are going to be facing when they are actually in the corporate environment, when they are actually supposed to deliver. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Vaneela. And we have our next winner question. Gurpreet Singh is the next winner. Thank you so much, Gurpreet, for asking such a lovely question. And you win an Amazon voucher worth rupees 500. You can connect to our team at connect@sunstone.edu.in to claim your Amazon voucher worth rupees 500. And the question is to Urvashi. Urvashi, Gurpreet says, how do I know it is the right time to do an MBA? What are the risks of applying early and waiting out for a year? So both sides he wants to know. Urvashi, over to you.
Sorry, can you just repeat the question once again?
Yes, sure. How do I know it's the right time to do an MBA? अगर he's asking, अगर वो जल्दी apply करते हैं तो उसके benefits क्या है? अगर late करते हैं, एक साल delay करते हैं तो उसके drawbacks क्या हैं? Both the pictures he wants to know. Yes.
Okay. I would say WorkX is not compulsory in India, right? So if you're very sure that you want to pursue an MBA, all right, do not hold a job right now. Even if you do hold a job right now, not really going anywhere. You don't feel like you're learning too much, or this is leading to a growth trajectory. I would genuinely say do it sooner rather than later. All right. Provided you have the college in your hand, the kind of college you're aspiring to going to. Okay. But on the other hand, so for example, I took a drop year to study for CAT. All right. That is because I had a job in my hand. I was learning quite a lot at my job. And also I was aspiring, for a certain kind of college and for a certain kind of course. And therefore I took a very calculated risk that I'm losing nothing in this 1 year. I'm earning money, so there is no opportunity cost. And as in I am earning money, I am doing what I like to do, I have time to study, age wise I'm comfortable, so therefore I would wait it out, right? So I would definitely say look at your own situation. Where are you placed in terms of job, current options, and current options in terms of which MBA colleges are you applying for and have in your hand. So yes, but
right,
again, I would say bottom line, sooner, as soon as possible if you're in India. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Urvashi, for taking that up for us. Moving on, my next question is from Aditya Sahu to Ashish. Ashish, Aditya says, value of online MBA comparison with regular classroom MBA. So he wants to know the value, what is the difference? And will the experience be different this year in any way? Over to you, Ashish.
So Aditya, I think when we talk about any sort of regular or a full-time program as compared to online program, obviously the big element of physically being on campus, uh, you completely miss out on that part when you are pursuing the program online. I'll speak my personal view and people can have different view on that. So मेरा personal view ये है कि जब मैं अगर MBA करने का decide कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा MBA करने का एक बहुत बड़ा रीज़न ये भी है कि मैं 2 साल कैंपस पे बिताना चाहता हूँ, मैं फ्रेंड्स के साथ हैंग आउट करना चाहता हूँ, मैं रात को 12-1 बजे 2 बजे केस स्टडी डिस्कशन करना चाहता हूँ. ऑल ऑफ दैट part actually goes completely missing. And anybody who has done MBA will be able to relate to it, because you know, and you will also know that 80 to 90% of your learning actually happens outside of the like the real classroom. And your like you can say your hostel, your friends, your peer groups, the kind of activities that you conduct on the campuses, the clubs, the fest, that is actually your real learning in MBA. So yeah, I would say there is a big difference between a regular or a offline MBA as compared to online. On online में आप marketing तो पढ़ लोगे, but वो मार्केटिंग अगर आप ऑफलाइन में होते तो आप वो मार्केटिंग करते हो, जब आप फेस्ट ऑर्गेनाइज करते हो, आप स्पॉन्सरशिप्स लेके आते हो, all those things are missing in the online part. So ultimately it's a choice that you have, and in the era that we live in, obviously you have both the options available, and it's always a choice which one you want to pursue.
Right. Yes, Vaibhav, you want to add something? Yes.
I would like to add to what is Ashish says. See, there are two types of things. One is called upskilling, right? So maybe you don't know Excel and you want to learn Excel. So doing an online course to learn Excel makes sense, right? But when you're learning about mainstream education, like MBA or a business thing, a campus is important because there are a lot of stories. You make bonds there, right? Tomorrow, if you see, it is the same people who study together, be it in school, college, or MBA. They end up doing something together, right? Be it business together, be it starting a company together, right? Be it here. Clear example of Sunstone is the founders, right? Ashish and Piyush. They have actually studied together, right?
Right.
I have worked together with Ashish. So, it's about building those networks, right? How do you know somebody is good? And when you are in a pressure situation, you're going to be looking up to that person that Ashish said, who's doing that case study with you at 2 in the night, because you've been with him for 2 years. And and there was a question on brand value, right? It is actually the network or the amount of people you will know from a campus that should be very, very important. Because when you pass out of Sunstone, I would like to highlight something, which is the Sunstone alumni network. The way Sunstone is growing and the current alumni network that is there are people placed all over the country. Tomorrow, after graduating from Sunstone, if you give a call to anyone for help, it could be a business, commercial discussion, right? Be it sales discussion, or just, you want to change your job. That network becomes the most important thing.
Absolutely. In fact, Vaibhav, we have a very great alumni network as well. If you can highlight and talk about that as well.
So all from when we started, right, 2014, we have a huge alumni network, and this alumni network also comes to Sunstone. It is to either teach subjects, because most of our trainers and teachers and faculty are people who are working currently in the industry. That is a must at Sunstone. If you have not worked in the industry for a minimum of 2 to 3 years, you will not be teaching at Sunstone. So, or training. So because those are the experience and examples, and most of the time we look forward to our alumni to come back and share what they have learned. Somebody is there in finance, somebody is there in logistics. People are there at Genpact, they're there at Amazon, different companies, and we do tap into it. In addition to this for career counseling and everything, this whole alumni network is there to bridge these gaps, be it business, somebody's looking to start a new place there, they can tap into people who are in that alumni network. Somebody looking for a change of job, this is where even our placement team comes in and gives in support if they identify certain career opportunities which are post MBA. And I mean, it's a huge community. So that actually, I would say, is much more important than most of the things.
Absolutely. I think that is something which students get to know in the process of doing an MBA, that networking is absolutely the key important thing. And I'm sure faculties highlight that. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for taking that up for us. Moving on, Vaneela, our next question is from Mansi Kalra. Mansi says, do person who wants to start a startup require an MBA degree for grabbing business knowledge? What do you think from the curriculum perspective, Vaneela?
Mansi. So Mansi, I would personally say that yes, MBA degree is very important, and so to say, because you want to be an entrepreneur. See, unless and until you do not know how the industry works, what the industry demands, what the customer wants, how the operations work, how is data managed, it is going to be, I'm sure you do not want to have an experimental experience in your entrepreneurship. So having the apt knowledge of how to handle, whatever business you want to be into, and having the right kind of experience, having the right kind of knowledge, having the right kind of exposure will raise and make you grow much more than if it's not an MBA. Also to say, of course, the same as Ashish and Vaibhav mentioned in the previous question, when you have a network, a strong network, it is absolutely very, very important and a must when it comes to business. Business is something which has a lot to do with your network, a lot to do with your exposure, a lot to do with what the industry or what the people or what the current economy demands. So I would say yes, it is a better deal, and it is a better option if you are an MBA and then you go for entrepreneurship. I hope that answers.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much, Vanilla, for taking that up for us. My next question is to Urvashi. Urvashi, Sakshi Pansari says, 2 years of gap without work experience, will that affect my chance of getting into a top B school? Yes, Urvashi.
This is one question which I face the most on my YouTube channel. Okay. What will the gap year do to my career? All right. Uh, Again, I always draw from personal experiences because I feel like that gives comfort and credibility. Um, in college, we had this house stay system. All right. And we were 8 girls who used to stay in one flat. Out of 8, 6 of us had taken a drop year, a gap year, right? We didn't have any jobs in that gap year. We were just studying for CAT, right? And all of us, we had this particular night when all of us sat and we were like, at least 50% of the time when we were preparing for our interviews, 50% of it was devoted to how will we answer the why did you take a gap year question. All right. And only 2 of us actually got that question when we sat for interviews. And this discussion happened after we had been placed. So, last trimester of MBA, most of us were placed. So, this is when we were discussing that it didn't come up during our MBA admissions, did not come up during our job interviews, simply because, you belong to a particular class.
I think there is an internet connection issue from Urvashi's point. Moving on, we'll move on and we'll wait for Urvashi to join us back. And my next question is to Ashish. Ashish, Vikas Gupta has a question. He says, and of course, if anybody wants to contribute, please, I would love to have your answers as well. Vikas says, which sector is job secured from job safety point of view in 2020, 2021 for freshers of 1 to 2 years experience students, since many top companies are laying off some of the best coders too? Yes, Ashish, over to you.
So I think the name of the person was Vikas, right?
Right, Ashish, right.
Because it's very difficult to say that which sector is completely secure. I think that I would say that is not the right approach to go. Because if you think, अगर आपको लगता है कि जो आप काम कर रहे हो, you are good at it and you are one of the better ones at it, then you don't have to worry about that which sector is job secure and which sector is the safest sector. सी अल्टीमेटली इवन हम लोगों ने जो पिछले 1 साल में डाउन टर्न भी देखा है, हमने ऐसा नहीं देखा है कि यार कंपनी में अगर 100 लोग थे तो कंपनी ने 100 के 100 लोगों को ले ऑफ कर दिया है. प्रोबेबली कंपनीज इवन अगर उन्होंने डाउन साइजिंग करी भी है तो वो 10-15% की डाउन साइजिंग करी है, राइट? So you should think it from the perspective that whatever you are doing, you should not be in the bottom 10-15%. You should always be a good performer कि आप ऊपर के 20-30-40-50% में रहो. And I would again go back and urge you to not think like कि कौन सा सेक्टर जॉब सिक्योर है मेरा वहां पे और मैं उस सेक्टर में जॉब करूंगा. See, if you want to make a career in the private or the corporate side, and you are not looking for a government job. If you're looking for a government job, then everything is safe, right? But if you want to make a career in the corporate side, then you should think of excellence. Then you should think of how can I be better than other 90% people. If you are able to achieve that, then you don't have to worry about which sector is job safe and जहाँ पे मेरी job secure रहेगी. अगर आप ऊपर के, अगर आप टॉप के 25-50% एम्प्लॉयज में हैं, तो नो कंपनी विल एवर थिंक ऑफ लेइंग यू ऑफ. तो थोड़ा सा मैं बोलूँगा कि ये नज़रिए का डिफरेंस है आपके और मेरे में. थोड़ा सा नज़रिया डिफरेंस रखिए और कोशिश करिए कि आप अपनी परफॉर्मेंस पे ज़्यादा फोकस करें rather than thinking about कि which is the most safest thing to do.
Right. और एक सवाल जो है, yes, Vaibhav, please.
I would like to add to Ashish, because this is one of my favorite questions that comes to me most of the time. Also see, this is related to people who ask placements, what would be the package, etc. Now that is totally dependent upon what you are good at and what you want to do. See, I'll take this very stupid example of onions, right? When there are a lot of onions in the market, the price is low. When there are few onions, right, in the market, the prices are higher. So take this example because you'll be able to relate. If everybody is going to one particular sector, therefore the IT sector, the entry-level IT sector in India is the most underpaid sector, right? Because everybody was going there.
Right.
I have friends and with whom I was doing my engineering. They were focused. No, I'll do oil and gas or I'll do chemicals. I was like, why chemicals? There's a very little market. But he said, yes, the market is little, but they'll be paid much better. 5 years or 10 years down the line, because it becomes a very specialist market. So the choice is yours, whether you want to do the herd thing and be secure, or whether you want to, you believe in your abilities and you want to take a different route. But the bottom line is you should know what you are good at, right? As Ashish said, if you're a person who likes to sit alone, analyze data, right? You are more on the detail oriented side. Then there are certain people who can't even have lunch alone, right? They are people oriented. So they should look at roles which requires for them to manage team or be part of teams. So, which would be, it is a catalyst factor. And I feel over a period of time, with what I say passion, it is about just mixing the right opportunity with the right type of people.
Right. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for taking that up for us. Very well explained on that note. And Urvashi is back with us. I'm sure, Urvashi, you were saying something about the gap year. Yes, Urvashi, if you can please, share your experience on that note.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I was pretty much done. So what I'm trying to tell you is that gap years are fairly common. I understood your concern that you've taken 2 years of gap year, not just one, and you don't have job experience. It's fine if you're convinced that you were in circumstances which required a gap year or things didn't work out. Just be frank about it. If it comes up in an interview, explain your situation. I'm pretty sure people will understand. So don't let it bog you down when you prepare. Yeah.
Right. And there's one question which I would want all the panelists to answer. Ravi Makheja says, what makes Sunstone stand out from the rest of the competition? I'll start with Vaneela.
Thank you, Harmeet and Ravi. That's again a very interesting question, and I would in fact refer to the entire conversation that we have this entire evening. All of those points make Sunstone different. To highlight, we make you career ready. We ensure that you are apt and skilled with what the industry requires. We ensure that we brush up your strengths, and we also work on your weaknesses so that you are able to deliver the best. That's what Sunstone is different for, and I'm sure together when we are working we will make a lot of difference, and that's what the industry demands from you and expects from you.
Right, over to you, Ashish.
Yeah, thank you. So, see, there are a lot of places, or there are a lot of things in which Sunstone is different from a typical sort of a B school. But if I have to pick one, I would say our strength on the placement side of things is something which actually makes us very, very different. And that also is something which is a very like it's an autocorrect thing, because we are working on a pay after placement model, so we have to invest a lot on the placement side, and that just comes from the model itself. So the kind of investments that we have done in the placement side, which includes getting up a very large and experienced team of people who can get you a lot of job opportunities, our strength to ensure that we are reaching out to all the corporates in the country who can hire at the entry level or the fresher segment of profile, because we are not limited by the physical boundaries of one specific college. So we don't need to have one person or two person or three person in the outreach team who works with the corporates. We can have tens and twenties of those people who can actually work with corporates and ensure that if there is any opportunity for freshers in any part of the country, it should be there for the Sunstone student. That's one thing which I think is actually materially very, very different from any other standalone college.
Right. Ashish, before we ask other panelists, there's one question which Hemant Shetty has asked. He's like, in Sunstone, there is no campus of its own. ऐसा क्यों है कि हम colleges के साथ merge करते हैं? If you can please take that up for us.
हेमंत, इसके कई सारे कारण हैं। एक सबसे बड़ा कारण तो ये है कि अगर आप हायर एजुकेशन को देखेंगे तो हायर एजुकेशन में बहुत ही विजिबली दो चीज़ें होती हैं। पहला इज द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पार्ट ऑफ इट, जिसमें कि बिल्डिंग्स की बात कर रहे हैं हम, आपको इतने जमीन चाहिए, इतना बिल्ट अप स्पेस चाहिए, दैट्स आल्सो टेक लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट टू बिल्ड दैट काइंड ऑफ large infrastructures. And second is what we are talking about, the education part of it. Now what we believe is that we want to build something, we want to build a real asset on the education side of things rather than building our own buildings or the real estate. And secondly, there is enough and more infrastructure which is already out there and already being built out. So we don't need to build our own universities or campuses. There are large beautiful universities which are already there in every part of the country. We need to go and have a tie-up with them so that we can jointly co-manage and co-run the program with those universities, with our focus being on education placement side of things more and more, rather than being on the real estate side of things. And secondly, the other major reason is that, let's say when we started, we obviously started with one city. Now we are into 6 cities. Now if I want a Sunstone experience or Sunstone kind of education, learning, placement, the whole package of Sunstone to be available to all the cities of the country or to the major cities of the country, it is virtually impossible for us. अगर हम लोग अपने campus बना रहे होते तो it would have been virtually impossible for us to start so many new cities in such a short span of time. So अगर हमें ज़्यादा बच्चों तक अपना जो Sunstone experience है वो पहुंचाना है और जल्दी पहुंचाना है, so that is the best way to do that. Otherwise, it would have been virtually impossible for us to grow at such a pace at which we are growing right now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashish, for taking that up for us. Moving on with the question, what makes Sunstone stand out from the rest of the competition, as asked by Ravi Makhija. Urvashi, over to you.
So Ravi, मेरा personal experience तो नहीं है Sunstone में पढ़ने का, but as an influencer, when I collaborate, I really ask questions, right? Because the brands I collaborate with are an extension of my identity and what I believe in. So I asked them a lot of questions when I said yes to collaborate. And the one thing which really drew me to their model was, they told me that the education is designed in such a way that when you enter the job market, okay, we do an MBA and we think we'll become managers. That's not the truth. You still enter entry level positions and you're supposed to do very functional roles which require real skills. All right. And this is something I literally see, that even tier 1 MBA students don't have very basic skills coming out of MBA. Very good communication skills, zero functional skills. And these people told me that we plan the education in such a way that our student will land up a job because he's good at the functional side of skills, right? And we need to ensure this simply because we take, our fees once the student is placed. So therefore we need to be confident कि जब job market में जाएगा कुछ कर लेगा, right? So that made me very confident of the model that yeah, this makes sense, right? So yeah, that is something which I think if happens is a really good model to follow.
Thank you so much, Urvashi. Our aim always is to make sure that the student is absolutely the main focus for us. His career is our utmost priority. Thank you so much, Urvashi, for taking that up for us. Moving on, Vaibhav, I would definitely want your viewpoint of what makes Sunstone stand out from the rest of the competition.
Uh, I think the whole aspect is that this first time in India, somebody wants to be accountable other than your parents for your education. And I'll put it out loud, right? You have IIMs. Can they give it to you in writing that no matter how good you are, if you get a job, I'll take fees from you. You know, that is the belief that we have in our curriculum. We have given that, you know, you do everything that is required from your end, right? It is not a thing that you'll sleep through the program, right? If you at the end are eligible for a degree, right? And if you don't get a job, the promise we say is that your education is free, right? So that is something that is most beautiful, that keeps us gives us sleepless nights, and it pushes us, as Ashish said, you know, placements. Our curriculum does not start from the academic nature, it starts from the placement team. Typically in all other colleges and my own MBA experience, career counseling and placement are at the end. You know, student is coming the second year, okay, let's do some placement things, QT, the placement, there's always a, you know, consulting club or a placement club or something, you know, those get activated. Students are finally started to do, you know, QT, and they started to do aptitude test. Students are buying Shakuntala Devi to solve puzzles for their placement test. This all starts from the first day at Sunstone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very important. Yes, Vanilla, you wanted to add something.
Reliance Retail, I mean, Reliance came
Right.
semester one, they picked up students for a 2-year program. Students only had to do 80 hours of work while studying during the month. So this is a fabulous model where, you know, most of our students didn't even have to take money from their parents to study.
I mean, that is something which makes them independent, and that is something which is absolutely the most important thing.
I personally strive for being in academics, that, you know, we've taken responsibility, and trust me, it gives me sleepless nights.
I'm sure that's all for their career. Yes, yes, Vanilla, you want to add something.
What I wanted to add here was, you know, Ravi and all the other students, you know, look at the amount of ownership that Sunstone is, you know, giving you. Pay after placements is something that they have been offering you, and the kind of being a part of Sunstone family, the kind of collaboration that happens between the academics team, the industry experts, and you know, the academicians who are out there, and getting you ready for the placements. As Vaibhav rightly said, yes, we have sleepless nights to give you the best, and we take owners of that, you know. So I think that makes itself is a big thing to make us different from others.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vanilla, for adding such valuable, feedback of yours. On that note, Urvashi, we have our last winner question from Saloni. Urvashi Saloni says, I graduated in 2019, appeared for CAT in 2020, but got very low percentile. Don't have work experience, want to write CAT 2021, but gap year is my big hurdle. What should I do next? Yes, Urvashi.
Saloni, if you're confident that waiting it out a year, putting in that hard work again, will definitely improve your score, I would say wait it out and keep faith in yourself. And I'm sure, and I wish you all the best that it goes well for you. And listening to your question, I know that you're more scared of the question that would come up in the interview, not preparing for it again. So, therefore, I would definitely say go for it, prepare, go where you want to go, right? Don't be scared of the interview questions. Interview exam ke baad aayega, to tab dekhenge.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Urvashi. And my next question is to Ashish. I'm so sorry to all the panelists. I know we are exceeding a little bit of, we are already, exceeding a little bit of time, but there are so many questions that we can't, leave out any because they're all students who are looking up to us for, answering their questions. MD Saqib Ashish says, Sir, मेरा question है, आपके कॉलेज ने बोला है 100% campus selection. क्या ये सच है? I mean, is it possible? Yes,
So,
Ashish.
Saqib, we never say that it's a placement, guaranteed placement program. We never say that. What we are saying is that if we are not able to get you with the employment opportunity, then we will not charge you money. बट इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि अगर आपने एडमिशन ले लिया तो आपका प्लेसमेंट हो जाएगा. दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली नॉट ट्रू. You will have to work really hard for next 2 years till the time you are with us. The only thing that we are promising is that we will work very hard with you. अगर आप दिन में 4 घंटा एफर्ट डालोगे तो हम आपके साथ दिन में 8 घंटा एफर्ट डालेंगे. That is the only thing that we can commit you. That is the only thing that we can, if you want, we can give you in writing, that we will have enough and more number of people who will be helping you. चाहे आपकी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स हो, चाहे आपके टेक्नोलॉजिकल स्किल्स हो, चाहे आपकी फंक्शनल स्किल्स हो, each and everything. So till the time you are there to support yourself, we will ensure that we are standing with you. That is the guarantee that we are giving you. वी आर डेफिनेटली नॉट सेइंग दैट कि आपने एडमिशन ले लिया तो आपकी जॉब लग जाएगी. ऐसे नहीं होता है साकिब. द वर्ल्ड डजंट वर्क लाइक दैट. सो यू नीड टू वर्क रियली हार्ड इफ यू वांट टू गेट इनटू अ गुड जॉब.
Yeah, so in technical terms, I'd say you have to be eligible for a degree in the end. Means whatever has been given, you've done your assignments, you've given your test, you've passed your exams, right? It can't be that you've taken admission and then you decide to drop out of 1 year and then you look for placements. It's not that. It's about you have to be eligible. Matlab degree ke liye you've qualified, you've done all your exams, you've passed everything, and then.
Right, absolutely. So it's very important for you guys also to work along with our faculties. Tali ek haath se nahi bajti, I'm sure we all agree to that. And moving on, we have few questions left. We have a question from Neeraj Kumar. Neeraj Kumar says, if I do MBA this year, will packages drop 2 years from now, or will the economy stabilize by then? I'm sure we have answered that already, but if Ashish, you can take that up for us again.
I'm so sorry. Repeat that.
Neeraj, yes, of course. Neeraj says, if I do MBA this year, will packages drop 2 years from now, or will the economy stabilize by
So
then?
Neeraj, we talked about this. So we can only tell you what is the market sentiment right now. Right now, we are expecting salaries to go higher 2 year down the line because अभी pandemic से हम लोग उबर रहे हैं. तो अभी जिन लोगों की पिछले 1 साल में जॉब छूटी है, मोस्ट प्रोबेबली नेक्स्ट 1 year वो लोग वापस वर्कफोर्स में आएंगे because now we are seeing that companies are now hiring. And if you speak to 100 companies, 80 of them will say that we either they are hiring or they have a hiring plan like in immediate future. In next 30 days they are planning to start the hiring. So market is coming back to normal, but पिछले 12 महीने में बहुत सारे लोगों की जॉब जो है वो छूट गई है. तो वो सारे लोग पहले वर्कफोर्स में वापस आएंगे. एंड ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम ऑब्वियसली व्हेन जब लोग ज्यादा हैं, जॉब्स कम है, तो एम्प्लॉयर के पास एक अपर हैंड है. तो ऑब्वियसली सैलरीज probably will remain at the level at which they currently are, but maybe 12 months down the line we are expecting that slight salaries to go slightly higher or come back on the natural path. जो पहले सैलरी हर साल 10 से 20% बढ़ती थी, we are expecting that to start happening from next year.
Right. Thank you so much, Ashish. And we have come towards the last question. Urvashi, I would request you to take the last question for us. The last question is from Aditya Verma. Is pursuing an MBA or PGDM this year a good idea? Yes, Urvashi.
Aditya, definitely a good idea. And I will give you 2 reasons for that. Okay. One, now that so many people have jumped into the job market after the slump last year, you just need to be more competitive. So an additional degree would do you good and only good, right? So increase your credentials and do it as fast as you can. Second, there was this whole trend in India where I don't mean to bring down anybody, but there was this whole market of students who used to go abroad to study, even if that was just say 5% of the student pool pursuing an MBA, even that 5% is in India now because of, xenophobia would increase post COVID as expected. So I would definitely say that you need to be in that pool of people who are upskilling themselves rather than be out of that, right? So, and I see no harm in the job market in terms of what you pay for your MBA. And I don't see any benefit in waiting it out either, right? And with the vaccines, even the missing out on the campus experience part of it will get sorted. So yes, definitely. Why not go for it right now?
Yes, Vaneela, you wanted to add something.
So I would just add on to what Urvashi said, and then I would also want to go back to what my father used to say, and I'm sure most of our fathers say, "Kal kare so aaj kare so ab kar." So and something which is upgrading your skills. Why wait for it? Do it right now, right here, and I'm sure it's going to be a long way and a success for you.
I'm sure all the panelists agree that this is the right time to do an MBA. Well, on that note, we are towards the end of the webinar. Lekin, I would request all the panelists to please kindly say one token of message to all the MBA aspirants out there. We'll start with Vaibhav. Vaibhav, your one token of message to all the MBA aspirants out there.
I think there is, for me, the most important thing is there is no substitute to hard work, right? And that is everything, even if you are above average, right? You'll get everything that you want to. If you see the lifestyle of how it has improved for everyone, right? People are talking about salaries. I'll guarantee you your salary today is lower than the salary you'll get 2 years from now, because India is growing, right? You're part of India's growth story, right? Lifestyle has improved. I mean, we are buying, we used to have one television set earlier. Now we have two television sets in the house. And this will not come without not working hard. So you have to be prepared. The right opportunity will knock on your door. Thankfully, in India, there are multiple opportunities that will knock on your door, right? But you have to be prepared. And it is not that, let me get into to a best MBA school, or let me get into a best company and then I'm in auto mode. No, it never works like that. You have to keep working hard. You have to keep at it. And that has been my own mantra, and I mean, it's worked well so far. And that is what I will tell everyone else.
It is actually the only mantra, Vaibhav, working hard, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Vaibhav. Urvashi, over to you. Your one last token of message to all the MBA aspirants out there.
Since I'm speaking to MBA aspirants, don't just get into MBA because kuch kar leti hu, kuch kar leta hu. It's very important what MBA college you get into, what course you choose for yourself, and what kind of fees are you paying for it, because this is a commitment which would stick with you for a long time to come. So, just don't get into anything at all. Research well before you enter a college. And the second thing I would say is, when you do get into an MBA college, please make sure you really hustle during those 2 years, because trust me, when I was in college, there were students who simply wouldn't get any placement during their summers, right? But they worked so hard on themselves. They were the ones to get placed first during the end placements, because these people completely transformed themselves in the 2 years they had on campus. So yes, build network, but don't forget to work hard, like Vaibhav said, because literally that's the only thing which is going to make or break it for you at the end of the day.
Absolutely, Urvashi. Thank you so much for being there with us, for joining us. Moving on, Vaneela, your one last token of message to the MBA aspirants.
Sure. Harmeet, and to all these aspirants, what I would say is you get what you work for and not what you wish for. And when you work for, a brighter and beautiful success, this is the best platform. And I would say that you all are lucky that you're getting this opportunity. We are with you. Utilize it to the best and get the best in the next 2 years.
Thank you so much, Vaneela, for taking out time for the webinar. Over to you, Ashish. And thank you so much, Ashish. I'm sure you have a very busy schedule, but you always take out time for
It's
our webinars
always
and
my
students.
pleasure to interact with students. It's always something that I look forward to. So I would actually tell students now, because you guys are planning to do an MBA, and it will be one of the most important decision of your life, because generally एक आम आदमी जीवन में एक ही बार MBA करता है, तो थोड़ा सा सोच समझ के डिसीजन ले, and because most importantly you're doing MBA, so it is also expected from you that you will do your research. आप पूरी तरह समझेंगे कि आप किस तरह के कॉलेज में जा रहे हैं, वहाँ की एवरेज सैलरीज क्या हैं, आप कितनी फीस दे रहे हैं. क्या ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आप 10 लाख रुपए या 8 लाख रुपए की फीस दे के आप एवरेज 3 या 4 लाख रुपए की सैलरी के लिए जा रहे हैं. So do all of that research and make a very, very informed decision, because this degree and this name will remain with you all your life. So that's the only thing that I would request students, that while you're making the decision, spend more and more time in your research, be more knowledgeable, calculate your ROI, and then make that decision.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashish, Vanilla, Urvashi, Vaibhav for joining us today. And with this, we have come towards the end of the webinar. And this session will be saved here on our channel for you to watch again, and for others who missed us joining live today. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. Our winners for today are Lavish Sharma, Gurpreet Singh, Saloni. You can connect to our team at connect@sunstone.edu.in to claim your Amazon vouchers worth rupees 500. Also, don't forget to follow Sunstone University's social media handles for updates on webinars, amazing videos, and content that can help you build your skills and, of course, grow in your career. Thank you for joining us again. We'll see you soon with yet another interesting webinar. And this is me, Harmeet, signing off. Thank you.